This is the second video on Strunk and White in preparation for your midterm on Thursday, October 21st. We are on the introduction, Roman numeral 13. It says there that it was Will Strunk's attempt to cut the vast tangle of English rhetoric down to size and write its rules and principles on the head of a pen. Okay, now I think you understand what it means on the head of the pen, but in actuality, it probably means more than you realize. On the head of a pen is a literary allusion, A-L-L-U-S-I-O-N. It alludes to something else. And allusions are shortcuts. For instance, have you heard about the little boy who cried wolf? Well, it's assumed that you all have heard the story, whether you have or not. Or have you heard the story of the emperor's new clothes? It's assumed that you've heard the story, whether you have or not. Because if I have to tell these stories every time, it takes a long time. So, the little boy who cried wolf would go up in the mountains and cry wolf, and everybody rushed to save him, and he loved getting this attention. He did this 5 or 6 times. The 6th time he did it, everybody knew he was kidding, so they didn't come to rescue him, and the wolf ate him. I'm sure you can find a longer version. The emperor's new clothes is talking about somebody who's made a fool of. So the emperor was very egotistical, and he was told by these tailors that they could make him the most beautiful suit of clothes and he'd be the most handsome emperor in the world. And they were actually con men, or women, could be either. So I guess I say con people. So anyway, they tried his outfit on, they did all this stuff. Oh, he was so happy, so he had a big parade, and everybody watched him go by in the parade, and they were all polite. But one little kid spoke up and says, "Mommy, he's nude!" Because the con people had talked him into this outfit that wasn't an outfit. And you see, it took me a while to tell you those stories. So literary allusions shorten, and we don't have to tell the story. So here's the story on the head of a pin. During the Middle Ages in Europe, theologians wrote letters back and forth to each other about how many angels could dance on the head of a pin. Today, we'd probably get people writing back and forth whether the angels existed or not, and what size of pin or whatever. And you may think it was kind of crazy for them to write and discuss how many angels could dance on the head of a pin. But what came out of those discussions are the rules for logic that you use in philosophy classes and math classes. Now, I'm no expert on this, but the format is something of like if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. I'm sure many of you understand logic much more than I do. So literary allusions are important for you to know. And you learn these by reading, by listening. So here, there are 4 classes of literary allusions. Mythology. It used to be Greek and Roman mythology, but we've gotten much more universal in our beliefs. So now we have indigenous people mythology, African mythology, Norse mythology. So if you take the days of the week, Saturn is Saturday, that's Roman mythology. Monday is Moon Day. Thursday is Thor's Day, that's from Norse mythology. Friday is Frigga's Day from Norse mythology. And I don't know, oh yeah, Wednesday is Woden's Day from Norse mythology. So it's in our lives all the time without you realizing it. And if you went to school in LA City schools, you studied mythology in 5th and 8th grade and possibly high school. So mythology is important. Shakespeare is important. You have to know Shakespeare. If you went to school in LA City schools, you started with your first Shakespeare play in 7th grade. You usually read Romeo and Juliet because it's so appropriate to read about teen suicide in 7th grade. I guess people forgot about that and thought the romance would get to you. There are 32 Shakespeare plays. You probably won't ever get all of them read, but you will learn some of the important literary allusions. The next thing is the New Testament of the Christian Bible. Now, I'm not trying to teach you religion. It's just a lot of literary allusions are from that part of the Christian Bible. Now, Santa Monica College has a non-religious course on the literature of the Bible. So you could take that class to learn more. And the fourth thing is the hardest one in some sense. Anything else common to a culture. So I miss out on a lot of television literary allusions because I don't watch much television. For instance, I'm too cheap to pay for Apple Plus TV, so I haven't watched any of Ted Lasso. And there's a lot of things I haven't watched, but you probably are more up to date on those things. You're probably up to date on things that are on Instagram or TikTok. So anything common to a culture, and it can't be just like for 1 week, it has to be over a period of time. So those are the 4 main things you have to know. And if you don't understand something, often it's because you didn't pick up the literary allusion. We're lucky in the Strunk and White book that you could figure that one out. I have a friend who was getting her master's at Cal State Northridge, and she had to read a poem called The Roan Stallion, which is X-rated in case you're in the mood. And she couldn't figure it out. Oh, she felt like she was going to fail. But then a group of us talked to her about it, and there were a lot of literary allusions to the New Testament. And once we explained those stories to her, then she understood the poem. So don't ever get up. Do your research. And this is more applicable, or is it applicable, to English 2 than English 1, because you're doing a lot of reading of dramas and plays and poems. Any questions? Email me. Talk to you later.